According to the latest social weather station survey, hunger continues to be a problem experienced by almost 3.9 million Filipino families today. Joseph Feeding Mission is named after Joseph the Dreamer, the 11th of Jacob's 12 sons, who was sold into slavery by his jealous brothers. Yet he rose to become the most powerful man in Egypt, next to the Pharaoh, by saving many lives from the 7 years famine. Many years ago, God revealed the vision to our pastor that we will become like Joseph of the last days. Our vision is to be used by God to feed the hungry, and to be God's hands and feet to reach out to those who are in need. And our goal is to feed as many people as we can, to express God's love through action, to encourage more people to become like Joseph the Dreamer, and be used by God to feed our nation, and to share with everybody the opportunity to share their blessings and experience the joy of giving. Ever since Joseph Feeding Mission was launched in 2011, countless feeding outreaches have been organized all over the country, giving people supplies like food, clothing, mats, slippers, and of course, Bibles. God is using the mission greatly as He continues to guide us by opening doors and making ways for us to feed and reach out to people in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Many feeding sites continue to be opened through the help of numerous partners across the nation. We seek to not just give physical food, but spiritual food as well, in order to plant seeds of discipleship wherever God commands.
In our hearts, Lord, in this nation, awakening.
JFM also conducts disaster relief operations. We've been able to feed communities greatly affected by the earthquake in Bohol, and even in Typhoon Yolanda, or Haiyan survivors.
Praise God po! Andito na po ang JFM team sa Tagbilaran, Bohol. At kukuha po tayo ng mga bigas, kavan-kavan ng mga bigas para ma-distribute po natin dun sa mga earthquake victims. Andito tayo sa Antiquera, Bohol. At along the way, marami pa tayong nakitang mga ganitong sites. Nagpapakita lang po na sobrang lakas talaga ng impact ng earthquake, and marami tayong aabutin.
Alam nga po namin ang layo-layo na biniyahin nyo, pero binigyan na po kami ng pagkakataon na pag-abalahan. Maraming salamat sa mga tumulong.
Doon sa Zamboanga, iba talaga. Pagkita nila, hindi nila na ni-mine yung basta makakuha na lang sila ng pagkain. So, rinansak yung dala natin. Yung sa Yolanda is one of the memorable talaga. Hindi lang sa pag-feeding but personally sa akin. Yung pinaka-experience namin, maraming obstacles yung pagpunta doon. Maraming nagsabi na hindi talaga daw time na pumasok kami doon at mag-distribute tayo ng pagkain. Asawa naman ng Panginoon, nakaabot tayo doon sa Tacloban. Yung experience namin, pagdating ng Tacloban, iba talaga. So isa tayo sa mga first na nag-respond. Yung word natin hindi enough para mag-describe yung yung feelings namin doon during the time. But salamat na lang tayo na naging part tayo ng pag-feed doon sa Tacloban.
For many years, this vision was in our hearts. Our church did a lot of outreaches, but a significant portion of our annual budget went to the spreading of the gospel through our media ministry, The Rock of My Salvation. This ministry went on to produce a radio program, an award-winning television program, best-selling documentary DVDs, and a network of Christian websites. Although there was nothing wrong with the intention of spreading the gospel through media, Pastora Emerita was reminded by the Lord that sharing His word, backed by additional action, would be a more effective means of evangelism. In partnership with volunteer doctors from our church, JFM also conducts dental, medical, and optical missions in barangays, schools, and other places where medical attention is needed. JFM also teamed up with the Saving Grace Project, which supports the student of the Values Education class of the Correctional Institute for Women. They receive monthly essential supplies like sanitary napkins, shampoo, soap, and toothpaste, among others. We have also extended our scope to include local orphanages and youth rehabilitation centers as beneficiaries of JFM. As we saturated communities in the metro, we received commendations from local governments and organizations for setting the bar in cleanliness, excellence, and quality of food and service. Every year, we fly in pastors and ministry partners from these centers for our annual regional partners meeting hosted by Pastora Emerita to assess each region's progress and to discuss the direction of future efforts. We recently shipped new supplies to each region to aid them in their feeding missions. Brand new sets of bowls, cups, utensils, and uniforms were distributed and placed under the care of each regional partner. Having a network of regional feeding centers in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao has also enabled us to have a faster response time in mobilizing relief missions for places affected by calamities, disasters, and tragedies. In recent years, we have played a significant role of being one of the first respondents to help the survivors of natural calamities like Typhoon Ondoy that greatly affected the metro, Typhoon Yolanda that tragically wiped out the city of Tacloban and its neighboring provinces. And the earthquake that destroyed a lot of houses and commercial buildings in Bohol. 2017, an earthquake hit the city of Batangas and many lost their houses. Though some were fortunate to still have theirs, they still chose to sleep outdoors in fear that an aftershock would cause their house to collapse on them. Our mission team was the first to reach and help a far-flung barangay in the city of Mabini, Batangas. Aside from our standard relief packs that contained food, water, and gospel materials, we also distributed camping tents to the local residents. Aside from this, JFM also helps our government efforts to eradicate the use and abuse of illegal drugs in our country by equipping our regional feeding centers with materials for the discipleship of those won in our evangelistic feeding missions, most notably, the drug surrenderies that are undergoing rehabilitation.
What the enemy meant for harm, God turned around for our good. What seems to be a crisis in Marawi has been a door for opportunity for our Mindanao team to reach both Christian and Muslim refugees in the war-stricken city. Pastors and leaders from our Visayas and Mindanao regional feeding centers work together to distribute relief packs that contain bread, canned goods, rice, and water to more than 150 affected families in Santa Elena, Iligan. We are making a difference by continuing to shine Jesus' light even in the darkest of places. Since 2015, we have been helping students from needy families by providing their school backpack and supplies through our Back to School project. This project also helps the struggling parents of Baseco and Payatas to cope with the overwhelming expense of having to buy new school supplies for their children. To most of them, this is the most expensive responsibility that goes along with every school year. We know how just the sight of a brand new backpack and school supplies could spark a student's excitement for the next school year. So our goal was to inspire these children to face another year of learning. We included several of each essential supply like notebooks and pencils so that it lasts them the whole year. And this year, we included brand new school shoes with socks, umbrellas, and raincoats for the students' protection during the rainy season. Through this, we hope to express God's love in action and plant the seed of help for those living in needy communities.
As our feeding ministry grew, so did the demand for faster turnover and more efficient production of food. A kitchen upgrade is expensive, but was also overdue. By the grace of God, our kitchen upgrade project was a success. We were able to remodel an area in our worship center that would house our new kitchen.
During a feeding in an orphanage last Christmas, we asked around what gifts children would want to receive. We weren't expecting what this kid would ask for. She said, a family. We felt the longing in their heart, so we decided to create a campaign where we could be a family to somebody this Christmas. 1,000 pairs of brand new shoes were given to orphans, communities in Baseco Port Area, Manila, inmates from the Correctional Institute for Women, and select slum areas in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Most people are privileged to celebrate the holidays with an abundance of food and presents, no matter how simple the celebration is. Yet there are also people who can't afford any of these and even have much less to celebrate. This is why during Christmas season, we make sure to include special items like ham, apples, oranges, grapes, and castañas in their meal bags. to make them feel extra special, loved, and remembered.
In 2016, JFM took on an unprecedented effort when we launched our daily public school feeding, where 100 undernourished elementary students are chosen to be a part of the program. The goal was to provide healthy meals to the students every day to improve their health, boost their academic performance, and help their parents financially by lifting off the burden of having to provide daily for their children's baon. Significant improvements on the students' health, academic performance, and even on their class attendance were witnessed and recorded by their advisors and teachers. Even the principal of Palatio Elementary School in Pasig commended the cleanliness, quality, and food presentation that was put in every meal prepared daily by our roster of cooks and field volunteers. Every now and then, we like to surprise the students with something extra special, like what we did on Valentine's Day. Heart-shaped hot dogs and sandwiches with heart cutouts definitely put a smile on everyone's face when they opened their lunchbox. It's the small yet well thought out details like these that make it most memorable for them.
Thanks. All of these wouldn't have been possible without God and the help of countless people along the way. To our church team, members, and volunteers, to our ministry friends, partners, and supporters, to all the nameless heroes who have taken part in our vision and mission, in the Philippines and across the world, from our hearts to yours, thank you, and to God alone be all the glory